the played an important role in protecting and preserving many of them. And as we continue to grow and build, as all modern municipalities do, it's our heritage assets that help enhance the diversity, beauty, and richness of our natural and built environments. Now, I look at Town Square, for example, and it's an amazing facility on its own, but it's so much more special that we were able to build it as an addition to Church Street School and create a place where our past and present truly meet. And I want all of you to know that the town of Aurora is committed to supporting the AHS to help preserve our history and enhance heritage buildings as we continue to evolve as a town. The Aurora Historical Society itself has been a very important part of our history for the last 60+ years, and it has a special place in my heart. And I know many residents feel the same way too. So I want to once again thank all of you for your ongoing contributions to our community, and I hope everyone has a great meeting, and thanks for having me this evening. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And as I mentioned, and I will say that I can quite appreciate that the mayor has more than one thing to do this evening, so I know that he will have to be popping out to another event. So we do very much appreciate you coming out in your time. And we do have greetings from Dawn Gallagher Murphy. Dawn, again, was tied up in something else. So her email, good evening, everyone. My name is Dawn Gallagher Murphy, MPP for Newmarket Aurora. I am pleased to bring greetings on behalf of the Ontario government to tonight's annual general meeting. Please accept my sincere regrets for not being able to attend. The Aurora Historical Society has been a cornerstone of our community for over 60 years, preserving the rich heritage of Aurora through education, preservation, and restoration. From safeguarding historical landmarks like Hillary House to offering engaging programs for all ages, the AHS is not only a guardian of our past, but a vibrant part of our future. It is through their unwavering dedication that we can continue to celebrate the unique history that has shaped our community. I am happy to continue offering my support in these efforts, ensuring that future generations have the same connection to Aurora's heritage. Wishing you a productive evening and looking forward to connecting at future events. Thank you very much, MPP Gallagher Murphy. And so I do wish to once again thank everyone for being here. We do very much appreciate it. Al and I, Al is, you can see him up there in the top corner of the screen. Al and I are co-chairs of the Aurora Historical Society. And I've got a couple of remarks and then Al will have some remarks. Events, we had a pretty full year last year in 2023. Our speaker series, and I hope that some of you have had the opportunity to do those. We also do those hybrids, which I find quite beneficial. The Aurora Chamber Home Show, we did that in the spring of this last year. The Aurora Chamber Street Sale, the Town of Aurora Culture Days, our teas, including a very successful children's teddy bear tea, which was sold out almost overnight, I believe. That was an incredibly successful event. And I know I heard from a few people saying that they wish there was more space for them to attend. We also take part in the Aurora Active Seniors Living Fair, which is a great event over at the Senior Center. Several craft making workshops. There was quilting, there was wreath making, all taking place in the ballroom here. So I just a big shout out to our small but mighty staff. The staff and our volunteers who continue to prepare and manage these very successful events for our calendar, and we really do appreciate it. And we encourage you to check our website, aurorahs.com, and see what's going on. Especially, we have some workshops coming up just before Christmas this year, and wreath making, I think, Kathleen. So they're pretty. I think we're going to double the workshops. Is that right? Well, we're talking about that. We're looking at getting the supplies to do that. So if you're interested in doing that, I encourage you to sign up very soon. Fundraising. This is not so much of a great story. Fundraising with many charities is proving to be very challenging. We unfortunately had to cancel a proposed golf tournament this past year ago, June, pardon me, due to lack of participation. And while we did have a great Scotch tasting event put on for us by the Aurora Whiskey Society, it's a really fun, if you happen to like Scotch, it's a very fun night. The person who does this, Keith Scott, does an incredibly good job of explaining not only the Scotch, but how to taste it, where they're from, and the differences between it. So if you have a chance to go to one of Keith's events, I highly recommend it. Unfortunately, as great as it was, it did not generate the forecasted revenue. And unfortunately, we simply don't have the horsepower at this point to run the Hillary House Ball. So it was a challenging year for fundraising. Staff and the board continued to look for other opportunities for fundraising. And indeed, at the special members meeting we had in February, excuse me, we did have some suggestions which we've been looking into. So we're always looking for ideas for fundraising. If anybody has any great ideas, please bring them forward. We're always looking for those great ideas. And now I'm going to turn that over to Al, who's going to speak to volunteering and Hillary House.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff. If you can't hear me, just put it in the chat and I'll either speak louder or turn my volume up or down or whatever is required. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeff. And it's great to be with everyone tonight from kind of cool Kawartha Lakes this evening. Summer is definitely past. A couple of things from my perspective. Wanted to talk a little bit about our volunteerism, and I would be remiss without acknowledging all of the volunteers who have helped in many of the events that Jeff spoke about, whether it be the teas, whether it be our spring summer cleanup, etc. And I think a lot of our present and importantly our future is going to be on the support of our volunteers. Like fundraising, we've had a bit of a decline this year in terms of participation of our volunteer group. So this is a little bit of an appeal, I suppose, to all of you here with us, those who have friends who may be willing to spend a couple of hours, whether it be on the grounds, whether it be at our teas, whether it be at our Christmas open house. We really need to continue to make sure that we have the volunteer support going forward. We just had our harvest tea, which was a great event, well choreographed by Kathleen and Celine and Julie and all the folks. But unfortunately, we were down to about 2 volunteers. So it was a busy time, and we're going to have to figure a way to enhance that going forward. So I would just say to all of you, whatever we can do in terms of our network, reach out to the office if people again are willing to support in any way possible. We absolutely encourage continued participation of our volunteer group. So that's kind of my report and my plea to the membership. We also do continue to have our relationships with local schools, and I know that's a big part of our spring and summer cleanup because it is fairly heavy work. So we'll continue that endeavor. In terms of Hillary House itself, one of the activities that we spoke about at the special members meeting a couple of months ago was that we had ERA architects come back in to refresh, I would say, the condition assessment report, the condition assessment of Hillary House itself. And that was in conjunction with an assistance financially and otherwise with the town. So that's something that, again, and we'll speak a little bit later, but that's something that certainly provides us guidance in terms of the future, the high priorities, the medium priorities, the low priorities, and a particularly important assessment for us as we look to the future. Jeff, I'll turn it back to you unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Al. Are there any questions for either Al or myself with respect to those remarks?
Yes. Oh,
No? Thanks, Al. We'll move on to the treasurer's report. What a good looking guy in that picture, huh? There's also a picture around here somewhere of me hiding underneath the sink, replacing a faucet or something. This is a comparison of our 2021 to 2022 audited financials. And you can see that thanks, Kathleen, what's that under the,
sure. The 2023.
okay. So 21, 22, and 20. Thanks, Kathleen. 21, 22, and 23. You can see that our operating revenue has dropped. Our fundraising dropped substantially. Now remember that 2021, we did have the Hillary House Ball, which makes a substantial difference in fundraising. Municipal funding, thanks again to the town of Aurora, has been increasing year over year, and we're very appreciative of that. Our grant revenue, again, the grants in 2021, there was still COVID-related grants happening at that point. So that has dropped. I'm sorry? Okay. That has dropped down to a regular operating grants that we receive from the provincial and federal governments. You can see that in 2023, there was 0% in terms of COVID funding. So our total revenue was $155,000 compared to $266 and $272 the 2 years previous. Our operating expenses went up. We had brought on an additional staff person. Celine was on for a year and a half roughly. And although she contributed immensely to the operation of the Historical Society and Hillary House operations, unfortunately, that did not result in any increased revenue. So when her contract came up at the end of June, we were not in a position to renew that. And we do regret not having the ability to bring Celine back because she was a great addition to what we did. Our fundraising expenses proportionally were lower as well. Our major restorations were in 21 and 22 when we, for those of you who remember the previous meetings, did repairs to the veranda out the front. So our total expenses were for 2023, $214,000, again, substantially lower than the previous year. Unfortunately, that still resulted in a loss of $58,000, almost $59,000. I will. Martin.
Question. Restoration costs have gone down to 5,000. Does that mean these things don't, are there things that are pending to be restored but can't be because of the funding?
So the question from Martin is, with $0 being spent on restoration, does that mean essentially we're putting off restoration work? And the answer to that would be yes.
That 5,000 was for the condition assessment.
And it's not an answer we like to give, but that's the reality, which led into the special members meeting we had in February. The next slide, please, Catherine. There's no other questions on this slide. We wanted to do this as a pie chart because I think it's rather sobering. Almost 80% of our funding is from government sources. So we are very much appreciative, again, of the government financing, but it really speaks to the challenges that we face as the Aurora Historical Society in terms of raising sufficient funds. Martin, back to your question in terms of doing restoration work.
Can I ask another question about the funding from government? Is that all three levels of government or?
Yeah, so Martin's question is, in terms of funding from government, is it all three levels? Yes. We receive slightly $87,000 from the town. We receive about just shy of $17,000 from the provincial government, the CMOG grant, which is Community Museum Operating Grant. And we receive funding from the federal government in the last couple of years, mostly in the form of Canada Summer Jobs, grants for Canada Summer Jobs. So we usually have 2 interns over the summer, and that's funded by Canada Summer Jobs. Kathleen?
Question, or is that okay?
Yes, please.
On fundraising expenses are down, do we need to spend more on a fundraiser to help us raise more funds?
So the let me slide over here so I can see the question, and I will repeat it for everyone. So the question is from someone online: do we need to spend more money on hiring someone to raise funds? It's a fair question. It's a bit of a catch-22. We did have a proposal 2 years ago, I think, from a fundraiser. It's extremely expensive to hire a professional fundraiser, and there's no guarantee that they will even cover their own cost. So it's, if we could find a fundraiser who would work on commission, I think we would snap them up in a heartbeat. But it's very difficult. As a matter of fact, we also had a proposal from a fundraiser who was also working locally just this past summer, I guess late spring, early summer. Again, a couple of different options in his proposal, but they're all cash up front to him. And you hope that you raise enough money to cover that. And the board just was not comfortable with taking that approach. So I hope that answers the question for the person online.
Jeff, can I jump in?
Sure.
So,
That's-
and Molly, it's a great question. One of the other considerations, and if we use the last Hillary House ball as an example, we had someone help us to organize the ball, but it takes a huge amount of volunteers to actually run the ball. And we found that there was, again, we had a reasonable group, but it was pretty exhausting relative to going out and getting going out and getting donations, the actual attendance and support at the ball. So one of our concerns is it'd be great to do it, but unless we can have a commitment from folks to really jump in, it was a huge load. And my observation, including our former president Patricia, was it was exhausting. And I think we all want to sort of make sure that doing fundraisers like that, we have the energy and we have, importantly, the capacity to pull it off. And that I think that's a challenge right now, to be honest, Molly.
Thanks, Al. So we have, as has been mentioned, we have various sources of revenue, grants being the largest one. Operations, which is admissions, a gift shop downstairs. So on your way out, please feel free to stop by and buy something. Anybody who's taken a tour anywhere knows that it always ends in the gift shop, right? By the way, they have really good honey in the gift shop. I got to say, they've got really good honey in the gift shop from a local supplier. Membership purchases, rentals. We do rent the building out. And as a matter of fact, Kathleen is going to show something later from a rental.
Oh, yeah.
Later, which is pretty neat. Events. So I mentioned, we do the teas. We have our speaker series. We have the Scotch tasting. So we have a variety of events. And we do some advertising. Again, advertising is an expense that we have to watch very carefully. We did receive just shy of $5,000 in donations from our community, and we're very grateful for that. And as I mentioned in fundraising, we hosted a whiskey tasting with the help of the Aurora Whiskey Society. And I did send out this poser question, I think last year. You will see whiskey spelled with and without an E. So later, if anybody's got any suggestions on that, we'll take answers and we'll think of some kind of prize. And again, we do grants, and our main supplier of money, that sounds rather crude. Our main funder is the town of Aurora, and we're very grateful for that. Kathleen. So I would move, and it has been seconded by, who's that? John Bear. And that the treasurer's report be approved. Kathleen, anything? Okay, that is carried. Moved by myself and seconded again by John Bear that the 2023 audited financial statements be approved as circulated. Anyone opposed to that? Seeing none, that declared carried. Appointment of the auditor for 2024. Motion to appoint Bateman, Graham, and Fitzpatrick of Newmarket as our auditor. Again, moved by myself, seconded by John Bear. Anyone not in favor? Kathleen, we're good? That is carried. Thank you. And a motion I'm sorry? Curator's report. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Kathleen. Oh, I do not.
I don't have the video loaded yet,
Oh, okay.
but I will get it. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for those who came in person today, and thank you for those who are joining us online. If you don't know me, I'm Kathleen Vahi. I'm the curator manager here with the AHS, and I'll be kind of talking through our activities for 2023. So throughout the year, we did continue to offer exhibitions, programming, and outreach to engage the community and to fulfill our mission at the AHS. In regards to our staff and interns, we did maintain our permanent staff complement, being myself and Julie, who's our administrative assistant. We did, as Jeff was mentioning, extend Celine's contract, who is our programming and outreach coordinator, by 1 year. We hired an intern through the Young Canada Works program, which is a federal program with support from the town of Aurora, and that was Claire. And that was for the Godfrey Collection inventory, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We were again fortunate to receive the Canada Summer Jobs Grant for 2 summer staff. And we also hosted a co-op student from GW Williams for the spring who helped with some collections work as well. So we greatly appreciate all of their assistance. We wouldn't be able to get done half as much without them. In regards to restoration and maintenance, I'm sure you can imagine with a 161-year-old house, there's always something that we're upgrading or restoring or stuff like that. Probably the biggest one in 2023 that hopefully everyone noticed was the fence along Yonge Street. It had been quite a while since it had been replaced. I think the 80s was the last time it was replaced. There was quite a few repaints and patchwork jobs, but with the assistance of Parks Canada, they actually completely replaced the fence in 2023 at their expense. So they prefabbed everything in their workshop in Ottawa, and then they came over a flurry of 4 days, completely tore down the old fence and put up the new fence. So we greatly appreciate their support. We also, as Jeff and Al were mentioning, completed the enhanced condition assessment report with the support of the town of Aurora. For curatorial activities, we hosted 2 exhibitions in 2023, Victorian Interior Design, Elegant or Outdated, which was the culminating project for the Youth Mentorship Program, which Celine did in 2023 and 2024. And we also hosted Beyond Blue and White, Wedgwood Design for Canada, which was a traveling exhibition from the King Heritage and Cultural Centre. With the assistance from volunteers, the co-op student, the summer staff, and our intern, we continued with ongoing collections management projects, including inventorying, cataloging, and photographing over 900 artifacts. So that is a lot. Our number last year was 400, so we over doubled that amount, and that's from all their assistance. Additionally, I spoke about Claire starting to inventory the Godfrey collection. So if you've been in meetings over the past year, you've heard a lot about the Godfrey collection. In 2023, she had totaled 8,610 items. She did finish the project in 2024, and I'll just give you the number. The total number in that collection is 21,268 items. But we'll talk about that in next year's AGM. Programming and events, Jeff kind of talked to a few of them. We were excited to grow on engagement that we saw in 2022, kind of coming out of COVID and finding our footing again after the pandemic. So last year we did offer 62 programs, and continuing with our regular programmings like our speaker series and our craft workshops, as well as introducing a few new events. We partnered with the Royal Rose Gallery in town on a paint night series, and we also kind of renewed our partnership with the Aurora Public Library, offering our outreach events such as the walking tours and other kind of hands-on artifact programs at the library. We, like I mentioned, ran the youth mentorship program, which was held for the first time. We ran 8 sessions for high school students who to kind of introduce them to the arts and cultures and heritage space, provide them with employment skills, as well as kind of a chance to get down and dirty with our artifacts. And like I said, they did put together our exhibition last year. And we expanded on kind of new events, our workshops and camp programs, school programs, and our fundraisers and teas. As Al was mentioning earlier, we continue to experience challenges in regards to our volunteers. We were very grateful to have the assistance of 51 volunteers who recorded 2,036 hours of volunteer time. But that is about a 36% decrease from 2022, which we had been seeing decreases kind of post-pandemic. So obviously that is a bit concerning to us. In regards to our KPIs, because we increased our program offerings, that resulted in an almost 30% increase to people actually through the doors of Hillary House, which is great, and about a 13% increase in people engaged through outreach opportunities. The number of people reached via virtual programs decreased, but that is due to less offerings. We still offer our speaker series hybrid because we find those very successful, but we're not running as many kind of solo virtual events because people are, they're more inclined to come in person. They want to be coming back in person. As I said before, our volunteer numbers have decreased and our number of online followers stayed fairly consistent, with the number of new followers matching our number of unfollows, which is, some people not wanting to engage anymore, but a lot of it is also bots being deleted from websites like X/Twitter. We did see a slight decrease in the number of online engagements, but still an impressive 22,964 online engagements. Okay, did you want me to show my little clip at the end? Is that okay? Okay, all right, I will pass it over to Al again, who is virtual.
Perfect, thanks, Kathleen. And lest the members think all is always well once Parks Canada finished the fence, although this was in 2024, didn't we have a car out of control smash through our fence earlier this year, resulting in us needing to redo 2 or 3 sections of our fence. So it's sort of never ending in terms of both celebration and challenges going forward. Kathleen, just flip to the next slide, please. Thanks. So a couple of things right up front. I must acknowledge a few pretty important people to having our grounds look as good as they do. and of course, John and Marjorie, I'm assuming maybe you're in person there, but we must acknowledge John and Marjorie for their tireless hours spent on lawns, on the tennis court, on the gardens, on the weeding and the feeding. Without people like John and Marjorie, we're going to be an overgrown weed mess. So thank you on behalf of the board and the members, John and Marjorie. The other call out is to Donna Lewis of Garden Aurora, along with a merry band of volunteers that she has from Garden Aurora, supporting a number of things. You'll note we talked about it last year, but we're now in year 2 of what I would call the sort of garden remediation, and that was to rid the gardens of invasive species. At this point, a number of the gardens continue to be fully mulched in order to rid ourselves of those invasive species. And more recently, I think Donna and her group have been paying particular attention to Mary's Garden. And I know that they have spent lots of hours along with John and Marjorie trying to make that particular space look great. So I did want to right up front acknowledge all of the work that those folks do, along with a number of our volunteers who come out for an hour or two and weed and feed and help us with the grounds. In terms of our kind of seasonal maintenance, again, we've in the spring of 23, we typically do a sort of full day cleanup. We filled at least 2 or 3 large industrial bins of leaves, of sticks, etc., and the sort of ongoing, trimming of trees, etc. Summer is really spent on maintaining the lawns, the gardens, making sure that we are again remediating the weeds that love all of our gardens. We're heading, of course, or we're in, again, a cool night towards our fall cleanup, which typically involves a crew of, if we can do it, 10 to 15 volunteers, moving all of the various leaves and the walnuts, etc., from the grounds, just to keep them looking good and being ready for winter. Again, in winter last year, we did change plowing companies to get the best price and value that we could get, which worked out well. And then, of course, we spend the winter sort of planning for the next year. So it's a 4-season occupation, looking after our grounds, and I would say that that we looked really, really good this year. And you'll notice in particular the tennis court got a little refresh thanks to John. So I think the grounds overall look really, really good. And we will turn our minds next year with Donna's support to starting to plant in the areas that have been remediated over the course of the last couple of years. So that's really, there's Donna. And if you don't know her, I think she won a big award this year for all of her dedication to gardens and our town. So she's a huge asset to us. Next slide, Kathleen, please. I think I'm done. So thank you, everyone. Any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't want to rush too fast. Any questions on the grounds?
Are there any questions for Al from either in person or the audience? See, nothing. Obviously, Al, you did a terrific job. Thank you very much.
I don't see any on the chat, so I think we're good to go. Jeff, I'll flip it back to you. Thank you all.
We're going to give you a 10% raise, Al. Could I get a vote? We have a motion to approve the report as presented. That's been moved by Marjorie Bear and seconded by Catherine O'Dwyer. Anyone not in favor? We're good. That is carried. And Kathleen? Now, the next is very, very small subset of people, even smaller than those who like accounting, called governance. And for some of you may be familiar that the province of Ontario, it's got to go back almost 10 years, started rewriting the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act, or as it's fondly known, ONCA. It was signed into law and it is effective actually this month, October. There was some changes that we needed to do. For the most part, we were in pretty good shape with respect to our bylaws, but there are some elements that we are adding, and we've changed some of our articles of incorporation. So what we've changed, we have now an AHS director's consent form. So this is just part of the paperwork that if you agree to be a director, you actually sign something that gives your consent. We have now an official proxy form, statutory declaration for accessing members list, and notice of members' rights and information. All this information was emailed to all the participants. Part of the Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act dictates that if the organization, and this is any organization that falls under ONCA, if an organization is requested to distribute a list of their members, they must comply by law. And that is if someone, as an example, wished to call a special members meeting to discuss an important part and was not getting any traction from the board, this is a process that those people could use to gather the rest of the membership to call a meeting, as an example. Along with that statutory declaration, there is also a notice. So members have rights. So you can, there's a document, you can say, I do not want my name being distributed. That is provided for in law, but that must go to court. So I encourage you to read, this is thanks to the government. I encourage you to read those documents carefully. I don't think that we would ever run into an issue, but I would rather the membership be made fully aware of this. So if there are any questions or concerns, please reach out to anyone on the board and we will try and do our best to explain that situation. But please read that, and if you have any questions, do let us know. Kathleen, next slide. Thank you. So there we have a motion to amend the AHS bylaws in the Constitution, and that has been moved by Jacqueline Stewart and has been seconded by Erica Baird. And if there's any questions, comments, or negative votes? Kathleen?
What is there any specific, I'm sorry, I didn't read through it. The one thing that kind of jumped out at me is the life memberships, they're not going to be distributed any longer.
I'm sorry?
Life memberships?
No.
They're not going to.
No, we haven't had life membership. Kathleen?
We voted to repeal life memberships in 2021. So that was passed activation.
Okay.
So the question for those online was life memberships, and that was life memberships were eliminated in 2021. If you have one, it is still valid. We're not issuing any new ones. No votes, no nay votes. In that case, I declare that carried. Motion to amend the Articles of Incorporation. That is simply to bring some of those elements into the Articles of Incorporation, which then get filed with the provincial and federal government. That has been moved by Yves LaRoche, seconded by Marjorie Baird. Any comments, questions, or any negative votes? Nothing. I declare that motion carried. And so the board of directors, so we have a motion here that Daniel McGowan and Michelle Primo be re-elected to the board. And that has been moved by John McIntyre and Angela Trevivian. Comments, questions, negative votes? And very few people vote no for someone else to be a director. Just, I don't know why that is. Al's clapping. I declare that motion passed. We are just about to adjourn, but before we do that, Kathleen, do you want to do your,
Sure.
this is really neat, I think. Kathleen.
Oh, sorry. I can speak to it a little bit. So we got approached by, I guess I'm going to do it on the computer. So sorry for the people who can't see me at home. We got approached by a local filmmaker earlier this year who was looking for a space to film a movie. And the description, it's a horror film. He was turning into a short film, and he was looking for a house to do it in. He actually filmed here in 2011, so he's familiar with the house. And they did the official screening of the movie last night at Town Square. But this is just a trailer that I'm going to get up to show you everyone.
And Kathleen, it's Al. You do have a question from Molly.
Okay.
I can read it to you, or you can have a look at it.
Yeah, can you read it? Is that okay?
I can read it. Before you're out of reach, I'd like to ask 2 questions on programming. Number 1, do public schools still have regular programming in Hillary House? Are the same number of children coming through from the schools? And question 2, is there a Remembrance Day exhibit every year, and how was attendance last year? How'd I do, Molly?
I'll try to remember all those questions, and I'll come over here so you can see me. We do offer curriculum connection programs at Hillary House for all grades. The attendance and uptake on that varies year to year. We do have a partnership with St. Andrew's College and with St. Anne's College, so they both come 2 to 3 times a year. And then we market our curriculum connection programs to all YRDSB and the Catholic School Board and the Montessori schools. It's up to them to book it. From the time that I've been here, we usually get maybe 1 to 3 a year. It really depends. I know in the school board right now, things are very competitive for field trips. Over the museum spectrum, been talking to a lot of colleagues lately in other York Region school or museums who are facing a lot of challenges with their school programs, mostly because busing is very expensive right now. So a lot of schools, what they are trying to do is do field trips where they can bundle a bunch of classes together and go somewhere so that they can save on bus money. And then also they're trying to do a lot of outdoor education field trips because the government, the provincial government actually funds outdoor education busing. But here at Hillary House, because we're so small, we can only manage like maximum up to 30 kids. So it isn't always somewhere that teachers decide to go. So we do offer them, we do market them. We just don't have always the biggest like uptake in participation. I have been in some kind of preliminary talks with the museum kind of over the years about maybe trying to do some partnership programming where schools can come and do kind of half a day here and then half a day at Town Square now that that's open. But again, very preliminary and no like real decisions being made on that yet. So we do offer them. The attendance, like I said, is usually fairly low. I have the question up there actually.
The next question is
Yeah,
around Remembrance Day, Kathleen.
Yeah, we don't typically do a Remembrance Day exhibit. We do participate in the Town of Aurora's Remembrance Day ceremony. I know this year, or is it this next year, is actually the 100th anniversary of the Aurora War Memorial. I think it's next year, 2025. So the museum, the Aurora Museum, as well as the Legion and the museums in King and Whitchurch are all partnering together to do a celebration for the 100th anniversary of the War Memorial. Because if you're unfamiliar, our memorial here is actually representative of all 3 municipalities because of the way Aurora was structured back in 1925. It was actually split in half between the Township of Whitchurch and the Township of King. So yeah, that is in the works, but we don't typically do like a display every year. We do have kind of a permanent display for the members of the Hillary family. For you, Molly, we do have our poppies out for Dr. Robert, Michael, Hillary, and Stuart. And we talk about about them in our newsletter and on social media and stuff, but we don't have a display every year. Hope that answers all of your questions.
And we have another question in, Kathleen.
Yeah.
You want me to read it to you?
I got it up here.
Okay.
Yeah, we do try to structure our education programs to hit on more than one part of the curriculum. So instead of just focusing on social studies, we try to pull in like as much as we can. And we think that will be more attractive to school teachers if they know they're coming for a field trip that isn't just hitting on kind of one part of the curriculum. At this point, it's just me as a full-time staff. And we had Celine, which was great. We ran a lot of programs that way, but it's very difficult to run kind of bigger outdoor ed or even indoor ed programs with one staff member. And then I have to rely on getting volunteers who are familiar with running kids programs and have all their background checks and are available during the day to assist with a program just because we don't have the staffing to run them. So we do find them quite challenging. But yes, we do try to incorporate different parts of the curriculum into our offerings. I hope that answers as well. This is as many questions as I've had. Thanks. I like it.
Kathleen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, it's Molly. It's Molly with a secondary question.
Sure.
I've been trying to drum up interest at the University of Toronto, and I do have a little interest. I just don't have anybody waiving cash yet, but I definitely have some statements of interest of possibly bringing students here. And it made me wonder if there are other community colleges, for example, who have nursing programs, PSW programs, anything health related that might be interested in using it as a, social hangout place, or at least a place that students would pass through to get in touch again with the history of medicine in Ontario.
Yeah, I definitely think it's an interesting idea, and it doesn't hurt to maybe start bridging some connections. The biggest challenge that we find here at the house is that we're not an accessible building. We have staircases to our main programming room, which is of course up here in the ballroom where we are, and also a staircase to the bathroom. So that poses a lot of challenges when you're approaching publicly funded schools because they have to have accessible, especially washrooms, and we don't have those access. So that's when we find a lot of barriers to booking kind of like groups like that. But definitely it doesn't hurt to reach out and talk to the people because of course, if they don't maybe need those types of accommodations, they might be a little bit more open to booking. But yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt to start trying to make those connections.
I'm guessing that most people in those programs are fairly hale and well, strong-bodied and would be prepared to waive any requirements for accessible rooms and bathrooms and that kind of thing. But I can extend, I don't even know what the schools would be. I don't even know what the local community colleges are or what their programs are. Would I be the obvious person to be curious about that because I am, or would somebody who knows the scene there a bit be the more obvious person?
If you're volunteering, Molly, I'll take you up on it.
I am. I actually am. I do accept that, but I would. I'll have to talk to you about who it should be.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in, Kathleen?
Yes.
Can I jump in?
Of course, yeah.
So Molly, I actually work at Fleming College in Peterborough, and in fact, we have a robust museum program that actually runs through the ROM, as well as we are pivoting our world given some horrendous challenges that the governments have brought upon us to healthcare. So it's something that I'm also interested in and just sort of waiting for the right time here or at Fleming to sort of introduce as well. So I think community colleges are actually a really good idea, Molly. And I know there's not many of us that do museum programs, but certainly Fleming is one.
Fantastic. I'd love to talk to you about how to shake hands there. Thanks.
Yeah, no, sounds great. I'm all in, and I control their pay too, so that's good.
Oh, we want you.
I'm more than happy to connect you to offline. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, if we don't have any more questions, I want to show you this trailer. So give me a moment. So like I said, just a little background on this. So like I said, we were approached by a local film director for a location for this horror movie. And what they were actually doing was they're filming a documentary on getting seniors involved in filmmaking. Okay, so I will play the trailer.
You're in there now.
Stop it! Oh! Stop that! Bad rug! Very bad rug!
So I hope you enjoyed that little departure from our meeting. Like I said, it was part of like that horror movie. That's only the trailer. It will be shown at Aurora Town Square over the next couple of months. And then the documentary on having the seniors participate in making a movie should be ready in the new year. And it'll also be showcasing at Aurora Town Square. So keep your eyes out for that.
Thanks, Kathleen. And for those of you in the room here, that rug is at the bottom of the stairs, so just be careful on your way out. I think it's a great opportunity. We also did, was it last year, Kathleen, or 2 years ago? Steam,
Yeah, about 3 years ago now, yeah.
yeah, what was it called again?
Their association was, I think, called the Steampunk Society, and they did like a short series on like malpracticing doctors.
It was pretty funny. I think YouTube, you find it on YouTube. It was pretty funny, but it was really great to see Hillary House being used that way. Looking forward. So a couple of things up here in the looking forward category, hosting collaborative exhibitions. The one that comes to my mind, we did about 1.5 years ago with the Salvation Army. That was a great exhibit. Continuation of returning and new events and programs. So the Teas, very successful, our speaker series. Kathleen is always looking at new opportunities to engage our members. Al mentioned a bit earlier about the multi-year grounds and landscaping plan. John and Marge are with us here tonight. I'm not sure if Don is online, but they do a terrific job of making Hillary House look great. And if you ever want straight lines painted on your property, John Bear is the man to go to. He has an affinity for straight lines. It's awesome. At the special members meeting back in February, one of the participants mentioned charitable gaming. Kathleen looked into that, and we are now registered with the Richmond Hill Bingo Charity Bingo Group. They're at Newkirk and Elgin Mills. So I think once every 10 weeks, we will be participating in a charitable gaming on this Friday afternoons, I believe. And we are looking probably around $7,000 to $8,000 over the year as a fundraiser, which is that's a great opportunity for us. So we definitely think, I can't remember who the gentleman was that brought that up. Claude. Definitely thank him for that suggestion. The Godfrey collection, Kathleen talked a bit about the Godfrey collection. We talked about that for a long time. We were able to hire Claire, who did an amazing job. Kathleen has reported on it previously. Thousands of items in the collection that have been cataloged, and some really fascinating things. And also found some interesting Hillary-specific related information that had been misfiled, I guess, probably in those boxes. So that was a great opportunity for us as well. And the future of Hillary House. As you know, the special members meeting passed a motion authorizing the board to engage with the town of Aurora in terms of looking at options to address the sustainability of Hillary House. As you can see from our financials, it has been a challenge raising money. So the town of Aurora has just released, and Catherine will send, Kathleen, pardon me, Catherine's my daughter. Kathleen will send out an email tomorrow with a link to a survey on the town of Aurora website, looking for input from Aurora residents in terms of moving forward with Hillary House. So we encourage you to look for that email and participate in the survey. We would very much appreciate your input on that. And there's actually one of the elements that it does ask, one of the elements, excuse me, asks you if you are a member of the Aurora Historical Society. So we're trying to get a bit of granularity in some of that feedback. So we very much,
Share.
yes, Kathleen, well, you're going to share the link.
No, but they can share.
Oh, yes, you can share the link. I'm sorry. You can, well, yeah, you can share the link. Absolutely. And I think there's an option in there. I'm trying to remember. There's an option there that you can select to get feedback. Isn't there, Kathleen? Was that the final thing, I think, in that survey? I don't remember, something like that. So we definitely encourage you to fill that out and to share it with your neighbors. That is it. That just before we have an adjournment, are there any comments or questions from any members here or many members online? Catherine is looking diligently at nothing. Okay, thank you very much then. I'll move adjournment. Dan McGowan is moving, Michelle Primo is seconding. There's usually no one who objects to an adjournment. So I'm assuming that that's the case. Well, thank you very much for coming out. We do appreciate your participation.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.